Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole and welcome to Yahoo Sports. And my guest right now is the champ, maybe the most dominant champ in the UFC at this point. And you're going to see her at UFC 275 on June 11th. Of course, I'm talking about the UFC flyweight champion, Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina, how you doing?
Doing good, Kevin. Nice to hear you.
Now you're going to have a chance to fight Taila Santos in Singapore. So let's start with this. I know you and your sister Antonina love to travel, and you've been all over the world. Tell us about Singapore. What is it going to be like for people who maybe make the trip to see the fight in Singapore?
Actually, it's my first trip into Singapore. Never been there before. So for me, it's also first time. And definitely, I prefer to travel with more free time to really understand and enjoy the country. But when you are fighting, when you are traveling for a fight, it's different. You kind of like, you are there, but mentally you are not there because
Right.
everything about it's about your upcoming fight, and definitely you are working, you are enjoying, you are experience everything, but you cannot feel it in 100%. So I will do my best to see the most what I can from Singapore, and I heard so much that it's amazing country, so beautiful, and really try to enjoy everything what I can.
Now, you have been known for your amazing consistency, just reeling off win after win. You've been so dominant, as I mentioned, in the division, but you're facing a different kind of opponent, I think, in this fight. And I want to get your take on this. Taila Santos doesn't have the reputation. She hadn't been in the UFC as long as some of the other fighters that you fought, right? And that's not to say that she's not a good fighter, because I believe she is, but she doesn't have the accomplishments that Lauren Murphy had, or, Caitlin Chukagian, or other women that you fought. How do you guard against complacency, given that she doesn't have that long resume of success like a lot of your other opponents had?
This is exactly what you are saying. It's right. It's like, no matter how she came into this opportunity to fight for the title, but if she is here, she deserved it, right?
Right.
And she showed that in her previous fights that she is a tough opponent, strong opponent with a lot of power, and you cannot take it out from her. But my goal, it's not just like looking in her fight game and like say, oh my God, she's so powerful or whatever. My thing is to see where's her holes and where I can destroy her. So no, not to admire, but to destroy. This is what when I start to study my opponent, this is what I focused into. And definitely I understand that she is very strong. Yes, maybe she didn't have that much time, but you cannot take her power away, that she didn't have opportunity to fight against all that fighters you mentioned before. So yeah, and I'm not considering it. I don't take it. I just see who is my opponent next right now at this moment, where she good, where she bad, and what should I do to win her and just show full martial arts what I have in the majority, like powerful and like beauty and everything what I can do.
Mike Tyson, when he was at his peak as a heavyweight champion, he used to intimidate a lot of guys, right? And the saying was that a lot of fighters that are fighting Mike Tyson were beaten before they ever got into the ring. Do you think you're starting to get to that point, given how dominant you've been against all these girls? And Lauren Murphy's a great example. Lauren Murphy had been on an amazing run, really looked good, and gets in there against you, and she doesn't make it out of the fight. I mean, do you feel like you're starting to get that? And is this something that benefits you if they are in fact a little bit intimidated?
I cannot get into the head and what they are thinking. My opponents, I don't know what's happening in their mind at that moment, but also I don't want to put it into my head and start to believe that everyone is scared and you're gonna have like it's gonna benefit you, because what I think that I really fighting the best version of like my opponents,
right?
And they are preparing for their fights, and that's what make me prepare the best what I can for my fight. So I don't want to take nothing like as a credit or like some bit like things and put it in my head. No, I'm not thinking about that. I think like backwards. They are not scared, that they are ready to fight till the end, and this is what make me even more ready to fight till the end and like just get this victory no matter what.
She was impressive in her win over Joanne Wood, I thought, and knocked Joanne down. Joanne's a good striker and finished her with a choke. I'm sure you saw that fight. I'm sure you've kind of broken down the fight. What was your take on how she performed, and did anything she do against Joanne surprise you?
It's kind of like it's no. She can have like amazing victory against some opponent, but it's nothing that it's not supposed to impress you, because you are learning a fighter, the strategy, her moves. Because like, yeah, Jennifer Maya also won Jojo Calderwood with Ambar, but it's kind of like, this is only what it was against this particular opponent and nothing more. You just take what you need to take from that victory, her victory, just her moves and strategy and tactic, and that's it. Doesn't have to you don't have to put there any emotions. No, just real facts.
One of the things that I think is amazing about you is, your consistency and how your performance is always the same. And I wonder if you think, that is your best attribute. You think, like I think of Rose Namajunas, an extraordinarily talented fighter, and she put on a, kind of a lackluster performance in her fight at UFC 274 against Carla Esparza. And I wonder if you think part of what separates you, obviously you have great physical skills, but is your ability to get to that same high level fight after fight after fight.
I think it's only the difference. It's years what I have in martial arts, my experience, and like watching everything what's happening in the martial arts, in the fights, how people acting, what they do, how they win, how they lose. It's make me learn and like take from this experience and don't do that mistakes in your game. And definitely I am in martial arts, doing martial arts for 29 years. 29 years, it's a lot. And for this time, I definitely could see a lot different fighters, how they like react, how they do, how they fight. And I learn from every single experience what I see. And this is, I think, the good abilities that you are learning not from your mistakes. You are learning from other people's mistakes. And this is what like define good fighter from the better fighter.
Well, let's wrap it up with this. And of course, everybody always asks you about going back to 35 and fighting a champion there. I want to ask you this. How are you different when you fight at 35 and you're the physically smaller opponent, and you maybe your punches don't hurt the, person you're fighting at 35 as much as they do, say, at 25? Physically, do you have to fight a different way? Do you think you're a different type of fighter when you're at the higher weight compared to at the lower weight?
I think in 125, I am faster. I'm even faster because I for 135 I don't have to wait to cut weight, and it's basically what my like walk weight is, walk around like 135. But in 125 I feel myself like double faster, double powerful. Yes. And yeah, but I'm not discarding possibility like about fighting back in 135. I would say I gain more power. My punches more powerful in 135, but a little bit slower maybe.
Well, we look forward to seeing what may happen down the road. Dana White's been on all sides of that issue, so we don't know what he's thinking. But first, you got to take care of business on June 11th against Taila Santos. Valentina Shevchenko, thank you so much. Congratulations on already a fantastic career, and keep it up.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Have a great day.
You too.